Okay, so here we are at Namaqua Park, and we are doing a taping of Garfield Elementary Kindergarten, coming to the Case of the Cracked Eggshell. We are actually on a very cold April morning. It's April 1st, and so I guess the fools on us, we're still doing winter. But what happens is when a bus gets here, we will take the whole large class of 40 to 60 kids and divide them in half. Half of the group is going to go to a walk on down by the river, while the other half of the group starts to load the stations. The kids are going to go through each station, and they are going to decide whether or not the suspect at that station is one that would have left the tracks at the scene, the cracked eggshells on the ground, and if they actually would have eaten the eggs. So this particular video is not a full-on training. This is an in-action field trip with the weather and the wind and the neighbors all adding to the ambiance. What we've got today is we've got the case of the cracked eggshell. Now, the cracked eggshells, we think, came out of a robin's nest. All right, so I'm going to put a rock right here and try and hold that down. We are going to talk about robins and their nest. Here's the beginning of our story. So, shortly after dawn, we have had a robin who's really upset. He's chirping, he's tweeting, he's carrying on. He's an unhappy robin. Now, most of the time, robins are sitting on their nest, just like this one. So this might be the mama robin, and she got up off of her nest. What did she get up off of her nest for? Well, maybe she needed some food. Maybe she needed some water. But maybe she was scared away. And while she was scared away, somebody came along and raided her nest. The beginning of this story starts with some smudged tracks in the dirt, some cracked eggshells on the ground. They're all cleaned out, there's nothing in them, and a very upset robin. So now we've got to figure out from these suspects who caused the eggshells to be on the ground and cracked. Do you guys know what this is?
A deer.
A deer. So he's one of our suspects. We'll tuck him under the nest. Do you guys know what this one is?
A raccoon.
A raccoon. We're going to tuck him right under this rock over here. He's a suspect. Do you know what this is?
A skunk.
A skunk. Okay, we're going to tuck the skunk. I know what we'll do. We'll put him under this one right here. Okay. How about this one? Do you know what this is? A duck. Very good.
Boy duck.
It is a boy duck. How did you know that?
Because boy ducks have green heads.
Oh, you're so smart.
And girl ducks have brown.
They have brown heads. Do you guys know what this one is?
A snake.
He's a snake. Do you think a snake would be a suspect?
Yeah, because I've seen a snake. They can climb.
They can climb. They can climb. Now this one you might not know.
No.
This one, what color is his head?
Brown.
Brown. And if I told you that he likes to follow cows and eat the bugs that they stir up in the field,
Me?
you would get his name.
Nickname.
He is a brown-headed cowbird. A brown-headed cowbird. Okay? That's his name. Brown-headed cowbird. He is also a suspect. And so those are all of our suspects for today. And you are going to each get a sheet that looks like this. But we're going to have to be prepared to grab onto it because it's windy out.
Yeah.
Right? And then I want you to pair up with a buddy that you're going to share a pen or a pencil with. Okay? Can you guys buddy up? There's 6 of you. All right, so you're going to buddy up. I'm going to need bigger rocks, man. Goodness sakes. All right. So you two are buddies? Okay, you're going to do it with her. Get a pen or a pencil from Miss Linda. Now sometimes I give everybody a sheet, but it's so windy. You guys work together, okay? Now, here's your first assignment. Write your names on the top. Can you do that? Do that for me. Write your names on the top. You can use the table. You can write on these pictures. It's okay. Miss Linda, if you want to get the puzzle table group and bring them over, I'll walk with these guys to the next station. Who's upset? Who is this?
The robin.
The robin. And what did we find on the ground?
Eggs.
And were they looking nice like this, or were they broken?
Well, broken.
They were broken. So our first suspect on your sheet is the duck. Now, can a duck fly? Can he fly? Can he get up?
Yeah.
Yeah, he can get up into the tree, right? Okay, so a duck can fly. There's our lady duck. Remember, she said had a brown head?
Yeah.
Ducks can fly. Now, once he flies up high and he gets to the tree, can a duck perch on a tree?
Yeah.
Perch on a tree branch?
Yeah.
You guys say no. Do you have a reason why you say no?
Because it has the little flipper thing.
It has flipper things. It has webbed feet. Do you see the webs between the toes? It has webbed feet. Those webbed feet are for swimming. Do you see how he's paddling away, swimming with his webbed feet? Now look at the robin's feet right over here. Do you see how the robin has toes? The robin can actually grab around a branch. There's no webbing in between the toes. Now I have something to show you. I can show you a real duck foot. Now this came from a duck that somebody had for dinner, but he saved the foot for me. Doesn't that look like the foot that's in the picture?
Yeah.
You see that? Look at the webs in between. It's all dried out. There's nothing on there that's gross. It's just, look, maybe it's easier to see it from this side. Do you see the webbing?
Yeah.
Okay, now look at the way his foot is put together, the bones inside. Do those look like strong tree-grabbing bones?
No.
Not so much, not so much. So we've got 3 other kinds of feet that can grab onto stuff. We have the perching bird feet, that's the robin. We have, they call it a grasping bird, but it's the birds like woodpeckers that can climb up trees.
Yeah.
And then a raptor foot. Do you guys know what a raptor is?
Yeah.
A raptor is a hawk or an eagle or an owl, right?
Yeah.
This is what their foot looks like. Okay, this is actually a fake one because we're not supposed to have feet like this. This guy's a game animal. You can get him and eat him for dinner. Oh, look at that. Wow, guys. Okay, so this right here, this is a pretend hawk's foot, but it's cast from a real one. If you guys don't have gloves on, my gosh sakes, that flying bird wants to fly, doesn't it? Hold your finger out like this and I'll let you see how sharp the toenails are. See how sharp? When they're toenails on a raptor, they're called talons. Okay, the talons are real sharp. What do you think? Is that pretty good for grabbing a bunny rabbit or a mouse? Now look at the muscles underneath. Do you remember the muscles under here? Not so much. So this is a swimming bird. This is a bird that can grab onto something. What kind of foot do you think? I mean, is this duck a good suspect? Is he going to have the foot to grab onto a branch?
No.
Should we cross off the duck?
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody with your partner, cross off the duck. Now I do have something to show you.
Here, I got it.
This is a picture of real robin's eggs, but the wind's blowing so hard I didn't want to lose these. This is a real robin's egg. These are the cracked eggshells in our real life story. Okay, do you see those? Those are the real robin's eggs, and they would have been in the nest looking like this when they were brand new. Okay? All right, are we all set?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next station.
What happened over there?
There was a broken eggshell by the table.
Okay, we had broken eggshells, and who was our first suspect?
The duck. Yeah.
Did the duck do it?
No.
Why?
There's an egg. Because he had webbed feet.
And he can't hang onto the tree branches.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So
Very good.
our second suspect is, what did I say? You could look at him and brown-headed cowbird, the brown-headed cowbird. Now, brown-headed cowbirds, they are kind of sneaky, okay? They have figured out a way to get more babies raised by other birds. All right?
They don't want to build the nest.
So
Lazy.
a brown-headed cowbird, can it fly?
Yes.
Yes. Does it have perching feet?
Yes.
Yes. Could it perch by the nest?
Yes.
Yes. Now, if that cowbird could perch by the nest, cowbirds have this habit of laying their eggs, their brown speckled eggs. This one's a pretend one. This is a real one. This is a real one. This is a real one. Do you see the brown speckled eggs in each picture? So the brown speckled eggs are the cowbird's eggs. A mama cowbird, by putting her egg in other birds' nests, can get up to 36 babies in 1 year instead of like 4 or 5. 36, 3 dozen. Do you know how many baby cowbirds that is?
Aren't you glad your mother
36.
didn't do that?
Yeah, that's a bunch. So what I want you guys to do is to tell me how many cowbird eggs are in this nest.
1,
How many cowbird eggs are in this nest?
2,
Ooh, careful. There's one that's kind of a different color.
3.
There's 3. These are the right bird's nests. Cowbird eggs can be a little bit varied too. How many are in that nest?
1,
1. How many are in this nest?
3.
3. Have you guys done addition yet?
No.
No? If I were to count them with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 babies that somebody else is going to raise. The other birds will feed whatever babies are in their nests. Those babies hatch, cowbird might look different, they feed them anyway. Crazy, huh? Now, does it look like the cowbird pushed out the other eggs? There's still 5 in that one. There's still 4, still 3, still 4. Do cowbirds push out eggs? Say no.
No.
They leave them there. So is the cowbird a suspect?
No.
Would it have knocked the eggs on the ground and licked the insides out clean?
No.
No, because it just puts its egg in there and takes off. It doesn't want anybody to catch it. Now looking at my pretend nests, all right, these are supposed to look like robin's eggs. How many cowbird eggs are in that one? 1, just the speckled one. Okay, pretend eggs again. How many speckled eggs are in this one? 2. Pretend eggs again. How many speckled ones? 2. Okay. So we have bunches and bunches of cowbird eggs, but did the cowbird crack the robin's eggs? No. So do we cross them off?
Yes.
Okay, everybody cross off the cowbird. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Okay.
Look.
All right, guys, what suspect is this?
A deer.
A deer. Well, we've got a deer hat and some deer antlers and some deer pictures. So let's talk about how a deer might crack the eggshells, right? Okay. So we crossed off the cowbird. Why?
Because it wouldn't knock off the eggshells.
It wouldn't knock the eggs out of the nest. We crossed off the duck. Why?
Because it didn't have like clawdy feet.
Right, the feet that can grip on the branch. Now, a deer, especially this time of year, is growing new antlers. Those new antlers are covered with skin that's fuzzy, and we call that fuzzy skin velvet. If you want to feel kind of what velvet feels like, rub this guy on the nose here. Okay, yeah, you can come around and get him. Rub this guy on the nose. That's kind of what velvet feels like. Now, velvet is skin. Velvet has blood vessels in it. If you cut the velvet, it'll bleed. Velvet is growing the bones underneath. Now, if you were a deer with skin on your antlers, would you want to injure that? Would you want to break it open?
No.
No, you wouldn't. So once the antlers are mostly grown, they will try to get the velvet off. You need to go from a deer with velvet to a deer without velvet. So these guys are pretty similar, right? Okay, we got to get from here to here. With velvet, without velvet. Now, the scientists have a theory that it gets itchy right around here, right around above the eyes, it gets itchy, so they start kind of scratching, and then pretty soon they tear the velvet, it starts coming off, and you get this nice hard bony antler to fight other hard bony antlers with when the bucks are trying to get mates, trying to attract the does, right? Trying to get the does. So we need to go from a velvety antler to a bony antler. This is what a real velvety antler looks like. Do you see how that's basically skin with fur? We don't have anybody touch this because it's old and dried out and I don't want you to rub the skin off. You guys want to see a gross picture?
Yeah.
Do you want to see what it looks like when you go from here to here?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, don't look if you don't like gross stuff. Okay, remember I told you that it's skin, and when you tear the skin, it gets all bloody and gross?
Yeah.
Okay, don't look if you don't want to. This is what it looks like. All right, he started scratching off his velvet. The velvet's dying, it's becoming disconnected, it's all gross and yeah. And then it falls off and dries up, and then you end up with a nice pretty antler like this. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, how do they get the velvet off? Well, they scratch it. What do they scratch on? Trees and bushes and each other. And so could this deer have rubbed the tree really hard and knocked the nest out?
Yeah.
Or bounced it enough that the eggs would pop out?
It could have.
Maybe. But when robins lay their eggs, what time of year is it? Is it spring, summer, or fall?
Spring.
The robins lay in the spring and maybe the summer, maybe both. When the deer are growing their antlers, this is summer, this is spring, this is new, this is summer. When are they knocking it off? They're knocking it off in the fall. So when they're rubbing their antlers on the trees and trying to get all the velvet off, is that the same time of year as when the eggs are being laid?
No.
No. Spring and summer for the eggs, fall for the antlers. Is the deer a good suspect?
No.
No. Deer's not a good suspect. Should we cross them off?
Yeah.
Okay, let's cross them off. Now, we've got just a moment because the other group isn't coming yet. These are two different kinds of deer. Can you tell?
Yeah.
All right. If you guys get an antler like this, you can make slingshot out of this. Okay? You can make a double slingshot. 2 slingshots out of 1 antler. Maybe even 3. Well, no, then you wouldn't have a handle. Antlers with slingshots, these come from the mule deer, the ones with the really big ears. They have ears like a mule. This one's kind of tiny, but it would have one big curvy piece with points going up like a crown. That's from a whitetail. Okay? Whitetail deer, we do have some in Loveland. And in fact, we have a few that live just right over that hill. Over there, we have some whitetail deer. Most of the deer in Colorado, though, are these big muleys with the big ears. Remember when we were at the very first table with Miss Linda?
Yeah.
The one who comes and reads stories to you? We talked about the tracks that we found. This tablecloth here has kind of a picture of the tracks. Okay? Yeah, I know. Look at that.
It looks
They're
like
just
it's
kind
fake.
Well, it is fake because I'm pretending because I can't keep the dirt over here. So I've got foot. So remember the tracks, and let's talk about our next suspect. Okay? Looking at the picture on the table. What is our next suspect?
Snake.
The snake. This one looks kind of like the one that we had at the first table. Can snakes climb trees?
Yes. Yes.
Is he in a tree?
Yes.
Is this guy in a tree?
Yes. Oh.
So snakes can climb trees. And by the way, these are bull snakes. Okay, they look a lot like rattlesnakes, but the pattern's a little different, and their heads are a little different.
That one's a rattlesnake, and it's a diamondback one.
Well, he is because he's a toy. He's a toy.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're going to use him today. These are our tracks, and these are our tracks. We have tracks over here. So what I want to do with you guys is I want to see if we can figure out which of these tracks look most like the ones at the scene. Now, follow me. Are we two-legged, four-legged, or no-legged?
No legs.
No, you guys. Two-legged. So if you're two-legged, you're going to walk like this, right? You're going to leave tracks. Walk with me. You can do it. Step on them. There you go. Two-legged tracks. Like a bear, a goose, all right, a chicken, okay, all right, a duck. One of our suspects was a duck. He would have tracks like that. Now, one of our other suspects that we're going to go to has four legs. Our deer has four legs, right? So if you were going to walk like a deer, you have to have all four. So I've got this paw and this foot and this paw and this foot. I got to get all four on the ground. All right, now, 2 legs and 4 legs. How many legs does a snake have? None. So how do you suppose the snake's going to leave tracks? You can try this if you want, but you're either going to have to slither or use your elbows.
No.
Do these tracks look like snake tracks?
No.
No, they don't. So that's one clue. The other clue somebody mentioned, snakes crawling up into nests to go after eggs. Look at this picture. How many eggs?
Here you go.
How many eggs? 1, 2, 3, 4. How many eggs in this nest? 1, 2, 3. How many in this one? 1, 2. And you know what? There's one in his neck right there. Look real close. Do you see where his neck is bulgy?
Oh yeah.
Would a snake leave any eggshells? There's the egg in his neck. Is that crazy?
Yeah.
So, would a snake leave any shells?
No.
No, because a snake eats the eggs
By hole.
whole. So is a snake our suspect?
No.
No. He could get into the tree, but the tracks don't fit and there's no shells left. The evidence isn't there. So what should we do?
Cross off the snake.
Cross off the snake. Okay, so we got rid of the duck because of his big webbed feet. We got rid of the cowbird because they don't knock the eggs out. We got rid of the deer. Why? Because that velvet is skin. He's not going to be scraping on the trees right now, not until fall. And then we're getting rid of the snake because he
just swallows them whole.
swallows them whole. Good job. All right, we've got one table left. You guys ready? So, our last 2 suspects. We've got a raccoon and we've got a skunk. So, Mr. Raccoon here and Mr. Skunk here. When are raccoons and skunks usually outside?
Summer.
In the summertime, we see them a lot, right?
Yeah.
But I'm talking about daytime or nighttime. So here's our raccoon.
Oh, it's also good.
So he's out at night. This is a nighttime picture, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you know, skunks are out at night too. And skunks and raccoons eat a lot of the same foods. Here's a skunk and a raccoon sharing somebody's dog chow. All right? They're out at the same time. You look in here, and you guys look in here. Do you see eggshells in those stomach contents jars? You can pick them up and look underneath if you want to. You see any eggshells?
Yeah.
Yes. So they both eat eggs. Do they both eat bugs?
Yeah. My nickname.
Do they both eat small animals like crawdads or little frogs or praying mantises or grasshoppers?
Yes.
Do they both eat dog food?
Yes.
So can we eliminate either one based on what they eat?
Yeah.
No. They eat the same things, and they eat the same things because they're kind of built the same. If you look at this skull, the raccoon and the skunk, do you see how they're kind of built the same? Their canines are pretty good, but not super long like a dog. They've got some front teeth in the front for nibbles, and they've got some back teeth for chewing, but one just looks like a real big version of the other, right? So they eat the same things, they out at the same time. I just don't know how we're going to decide which one is the one that cracked the eggshells. But I do have a clue for you. Remember how we talked at the other tables about whether or not they can climb trees or fly up to the nest? Can raccoons climb trees?
Yeah.
Yes. Can skunks climb trees?
Yes.
Well, I'm showing you a picture of a spotted skunk. Does this guy look like a spotted skunk? Not so much. Spotted skunks do live in Colorado, but they live on the other side of the mountains. This is a striped skunk. Striped skunks are the ones they like to make toys out of. I think it's easier than making spots, don't you? Well, here's my big clue. And we're going to ask Michael and Janine to read the big clue to you guys. All right? What's the big clue, gang? The striped skunk.
With its long claws will not climb trees except when young.
Wow. So this is a spotted skunk. This is a striped skunk. Do they climb trees? Only when they're young, right? I want to show you this picture of the raccoon and the skunk sharing dinner. Look at the claws on the skunk. Do you see those front claws?
Yeah.
Those front claws are really long. Can you imagine trying to come down a tree head first with those long claws? Say no. It's kind of like imagining a lady with really long fancy fingernails typing on a keyboard. Do you ever wonder how they do that? Yeah. So these long claws keep him from climbing the trees. So who should we cross off and who should we circle as the suspect?
The raccoon.
The raccoon. We're going to circle the raccoon because the raccoon is the guy that we have decided left the cracked eggshells. Raccoons will sometimes lick out all the insides of their eggshells. They'll just clean them right out. Circle the raccoon. This is what you can expect if you come and help volunteer for this program. Use it as a review. Use it as just kind of a, I don't know, peek into critter scene investigations 101 with kindergartners. Thank you.